Go to southernroofingaugusta.com for all of your roofing needs.
Trust meteorologist Mikkel Hannah Harding for your first alert. Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12, first at 4.
Good afternoon. First at 4 begins with a look at tonight's temps. Overnight, it's going to be a chilly one. You may be wondering, how do I dress the kids first thing in the morning? So let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Emily Acton.
Yeah, that's a good question there. Sometimes I've asked myself, how am I going to get dressed this morning? Because you got to bundle up, and then by the afternoon, you're peeling off all the layers. It's warm out there, and I mean, that's kind of the story today. We started off right at 50. Now we're in the 70s, so sunny sky conditions as well. Helps us really feel pretty warm out there. And this is actually one of the cooler days this week, but I want to point out those dew points. It's very dry out there. We're seeing dew points in the low 40s, some spots in those upper 30s. So dry conditions for us and still pretty warm out there as well. So I'm not going to see any relief in terms of rainfall or cooler weather tonight. If you have any outdoor plans, shouldn't be too bad. Calm winds. Mostly clear overnight, so that's going to help us drop off. Richard, we're going to see the low 40s to kick off our Tuesday, so definitely going to have to bundle up as you head out the door, but thankfully we have a pretty calm and decent night for us. I was going to say warm, but I guess it's really not warm once we get into those 50s there, but hey, we have a pretty good 7-day in store. I'll let you know about that coming up soon.
Sounds good, Emily. Thanks a lot. First at 4, a driver arrested in connection with one of 2 deadly traffic accidents over the weekend. 32-year-old Megan Burton arrested yesterday for hitting and killing 39-year-old Barry Smith Jr., who was homeless and trying to cross Gordon Highway. He was pronounced dead around 3:18 Sunday morning. Burton is charged with felony homicide and driving under the influence of drugs. Another arrest to report, this time in Aiken County. 25-year-old Demetrius Doe Jr. behind bars, accused of shooting and killing Taquan Graham at the Palmetto Crossing Apartments. He's charged with murder and criminal conspiracy. Doe was arrested early this morning at a home in Lexington County. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office has also arrested Raheem DeVoe and Richard Lee Garvin Jr. of Fairfax in connection to the same case. Closer to home, a woman recovering after a shooting in Richmond County. Investigators say deputies were called to Wrdw Drive just before 1 Sunday afternoon. They found a woman who was shot at least once and taken to a hospital for treatment. That investigation is ongoing, and we're working to learn more about the case. We'll let you know just as soon as more details come in. The Burke County Sheriff's Office needs some help finding this missing man right here. They say 36-year-old Brandon Mills was reported missing from his home on 4 Points Road in Burke County on October 19th. He was last seen in a blue polo shirt driving a 2004 silver F-150 with a Georgia license plate, SAI 3932. If you know where he might be, call the Burke County Sheriff's Office, the number right there on your screen. A bus driver springs into action when she sees one of her students collapse on the school bus. The heroic rescue caught on camera after the break.
And a decent evening in store for us, but we're going to cool off significantly overnight. But I'll have a look at your 7-day coming up after the break.
Time and Temp, brought to you by Jamie Casino Injury Lawyers.
$2,500 purchase allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
Seniors.
I want you to do yourself a favor and I hope that you learn. Been in the wreck, call a Mike Hostel Law Firm.
Temperatures this afternoon have warmed up into the lower 70s. Now, we started off right around 50 this morning, so a decent warm up this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine throughout the day. Again, most of us are sitting in those low 70s, but Louisville sitting at 75, 73 in Swainsboro. Here in Augusta sitting at 72. And things are going to be calm overnight tonight. We'll slowly but surely start to cool off. Once the sun sets, we'll be in those 50s pretty quickly there, and we'll see those low 50s by around 10 p.m. Then overnight, we could see a low right around 40. Some spots locally, though, could see the upper 30s. So definitely a cold night in store for us. But hey, cold weather, things are starting to transition into fall. So we're seeing some of that fall foliage for us. And I'm a new fall foliage fan, I guess we could say. And we're really going to hit that peak, or at least near peak, next week and the week after that. And then by the beginning of November, we could see those peak colors, Richard. I'm so excited about this. Like I said, I'm new to being obsessed with the leaves changing, but I'm very excited for those fall colors this year.
A lot of people are leaf lovers this time of year. In November, yeah, we get a lot of late November blooms here for those leaves turning. Emily, thanks. The FAA investigating an incident last week involving an Alaska Airlines flight. It happened during bad weather in Portland, Oregon last Monday. Investigators say pilots of an Alaska Airlines plane initiated a go-around because of some high wind. That plane then appeared to turn toward another plane that was actually trying to take off. Air traffic controllers issued urgent instructions to turn away from the other plane. The FAA says it will determine just how close they came between those two aircraft as part of that investigation. Both planes continued on their way safely to their destinations. With the impact of climate change intensifying, a growing number of schools across the country are teaching the topic in the classroom. The hope is future generations will learn how to take steps to reduce the threat. Martina Gutierrez teaches fourth grade in Washington, D.C. Her class expeditions include learning about the environment to master how to recycle and compost, lessons the students actually take home.
Everything's not trash. Like food is compost, plastic is recycled, and trash is trash. Sometimes me and my brother and dad just go with the broom and gloves and we have one of those little trash things and pick up the trash in the alley.
Some great examples to take home there. The teachers hoping this serves as sort of an example to other teachers across the country to try to teach sustainability in the classroom. School bus drivers have a lot on their hands, from managing traffic situations to getting kids to and from school safely. It is a big job, but one Dallas, Texas bus driver can now add lifesaver to her resume. She jumped into action to save a student's life, and it was all caught on video. Here's Olivia Leach with the story.
On September 29th, bus driver Raquel Radford Baker began her shift just like any other. Miss Rocky, as the kids call her, is serious about safety.
They are my babies.
She was filling in for another bus driver that day, but as it turns out, she was in the right place at the right time. She was about to drop off students at Seagoville North Elementary School when something went wrong. You can see on this video, 7-year-old Preston Bell puts something in his mouth and immediately drops down between the seats before heading Miss Rocky's way, clearly in distress.
He mentioned something about a penny, and I said penny, and I just grabbed him, ran down the stairs with him. On my way to the sidewalk, I was actually performing the Heimlich maneuver.
Preston was choking.
The whole entire time, I'm saying, baby, breathe, I got you, breathe.
The boy was limp and blue in the face.
All I can think of is, I have to save this baby. I have to save him. Sorry.
A veteran, Miss Rocky says she's never performed the Heimlich before, but her training kicked in.
I was nervous at the time, but I just couldn't panic. All I said to myself was, God help me. Like, help me save this baby.
She didn't even realize when the quarter flew out of Preston's mouth.
The lady said, ma'am, there's a quarter there. And I'm still in shock because I'm still trying to work with him. And he stepped to the side. He said, Miss Rocky, I'm okay. I can breathe.
Miss Rocky got a chance to meet Preston's mom earlier this month. A mom of 3 herself, she understood how his mom was feeling.
She was just so thankful and grateful. It was just a relief. And I did put myself in her shoes, and I told her I can only imagine how she felt.
She doesn't know how she got the courage to do what she did that day, but she knows this.
I feel like that God placed me there for a reason. I mean, if I wasn't there, I don't know what the other driver may have done.
such a close call there, and good thing she was there, a hero behind the behind the wheel of that school bus. Music news this afternoon: Blink 182 reuniting and just announcing a tour. The original members of the pop punk band are out with their recently released album One More Time. The trio will hit the road next summer, supporting their first studio work together in a decade. Blink 182 plans to perform in 30 cities around the U.S. as well as Canada, including close to home, Greenville, South Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, down in Columbus, Georgia. Tickets go on sale Friday. You can find them at blink182.com. Getting the band back together. Congratulations today to the Augusta Junior Players for winning Best Show at this year's Georgia Theater Conference for their production of Sisters. The young performers competed against adults in the community theater division, just like they did last year. This victory makes it their second straight win at this statewide competition, and you can see the award-winning talent behind Sisters, the musical, over at the Kroc Center. Getting your tickets at the Augusta Players website. Congratulations to the cast and the crew. When First at 4 continues, misconceptions when it comes to detecting ovarian cancer, what doctors say women need to know.
Right now, temperatures are sitting in those lower 70s, but we'll cool off into the 40s overnight tonight. But I'll have a check on your 7-day coming up.
High school listen.
Well, we started off this morning with temperatures in the 50s, warmed up this afternoon to the lower 70s, and really going to be a repeat tomorrow, except a little bit cooler in those morning hours. Definitely recommend a jacket as you head out the door for your Tuesday, right around 40 for the overnight lows, but we'll warm up nicely into those middle 70s, and then by Wednesday, you see those upper 70s, which is about average for this time of year. And check it out, we're going to see the 80s by the end of the week, and we haven't seen the 80s in a little while. Now, that's going to exclude our Friday for us, or our Sunday, excuse me. That's where we saw the latest 780. There we go. I'm trying to get the thing going. You know, sometimes you just have malfunctions going on. But anyways, I'll keep telling you about the 7-day. We're warming up. Later on in the week, we're going to see those lower 80s. Overnight low is going to be in the 50s, so really seasonable, Richard. Maybe a few degrees warmer by the end of the week, but not tracking any rain, and we actually could use some rainfall.
And we got to remember, those are 80s with low humidity, so those are 80s we might not mind.
You're right.
Might not feel bad. Emily, thanks. Okay, there's no test to screen for ovarian cancer, but a new survey finds a lot of women mistakenly believe pap smears can detect it. Bradley Blackburn reports on why that may put them at risk.
Katia Lezen has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer twice. The first time when she was 46.
My kids at the time were 11, 15, and 17, and I was facing the very real possibility that I may not be able to see them into adulthood.
Ovarian cancer has a 50% survival rate over 5 years. If it's caught at stage 1, those odds improve to more than 90%. But a new nationwide survey found 7 in 10 women wrongly believe pap smears test for ovarian cancer.
Pap smear screens for cervical cancer only.
Dr. Efi Stitt says because guidelines now recommend pap smears every 3 to 5 years, too many women skip annual checkups that could catch potential early symptoms of ovarian cancer, like pelvic pain, bloating, or low appetite.
By not being seen annually, we lose the opportunity to screen for some of these subtle presentations.
For those with family history, genetic testing can identify risk. Lezen carries the BRCA1 gene mutation that increases the chance of multiple cancers, including breast cancer. It's knowledge that can help with treatment and prevention.
I elected to have a prophylactic double mastectomy that was fully paid for by my insurance company because of my mutation.
More than 10 years after her first diagnosis, she is living proof you can survive ovarian cancer.
Let's arm ourselves with the right information and be proactive about our health before you get that call that says, I don't know how to tell you this.
She says all women should see their doctor every year. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And the National Cancer Institute says nearly 20,000 women will be diagnosed with ovarian cancer this year alone. Saturday's 23rd annual Miracle Mile Walk at the Augusta Common brought thousands of cancer survivors and supporters to downtown Augusta for a really good cause. Piedmont Augusta Foundation President Laureate says the event was the largest and the most successful Miracle Mile Walk in Piedmont Augusta Foundation history. At last count, they're still counting, they raised $475,000, and the foundation feels confident they're going to surpass the goal of $500,000. Piedmont says they've never reached $400,000 before, so well done to everyone who turned out in pink in downtown Augusta. Medical experts agree stress causes unnecessary harm to your body. The war between Israel and Hamas is upping that stress these days, a situation individuals cannot control, creating high levels of tension and anxiety for so many people. Stress has been shown to increase blood pressure, disrupt metabolic health, compromise your immune system, and cause sleep and mood disorders. One doctor says focusing on the little things can have a huge effect on your body and mind.
Pouring yourself a warm cup of coffee, appreciating the sunrise when you wake up, reading a good book, or writing in your gratitude journal. What this does is there's called the undoing hypothesis, where it helps bring down and help you recover from that stress and build up your reserves so that you can be stronger and more fortified.
You got to get outside and breathe. She says creating positive emotions will also help regulate the psychological activity and limit the negative effects of stress on your body.
Well, we've had a warm afternoon for us. It's going to cool off pretty significantly overnight, but we'll warm back up for the end of our week. I'll have a look at your 7-day coming up after the break.
And also ahead, first and foremost, some animals getting into the Halloween spirit early. We'll check that out after this break. Well, have a look at this. The animals at the London Zoo are getting into the Halloween spirit right there. That's called an okapas. It's nicknamed the forest giraffe, animal I'm not familiar with, but it went foraging through pumpkins for some treats. Zookeepers stuffed the gorge with their favorite snacks. Polly, Dolly, and Priscilla, 3 Galapagos tortoises, also joining the fun. And those are the tiger teens, Zach and Crispin. They smell their way to cinnamon and nutmeg-scented pile of pumpkins. But Emily, looks like they are into it there at the zoo there in the London Zoo.
The turtles are having a little bit of a hard time there, trying to eat the pumpkin.
And have you ever seen those before, the okapas?
No.
The forest giraffe. That's the next cousin, is the giraffe to that animal right there. But it looks like a zebra cross, too. There's some stripes in there.
Yeah, that popped up, and I was like, I've never seen that before. But yeah, see the turtle, it's having a hard time. I know.
The tiger needs no help at all. They're going to play with it before they eat it, like any cat would.
True.
They're going to play with it first.
They really do look like a house cat doing that. Love to see it there. Anyway, taking a look at our current temperatures this afternoon. Love to see those too. We're in the low 70s, low humidity, definitely a fall day for us, but don't get too used to it. We're going to cool off well overnight tonight, but we're going to warm up tomorrow. But again, we're going to see temperatures after sunset cooling off into the 50s, low 50s by 10 p.m., and then we'll see the 40s by the time the sun rises for our Tuesday, and we're going to warm up. By Wednesday, we'll see those upper 70s, which is actually average for this time of year. But then once we get to Thursday and even into our weekend, we're going to see those low 80s, Richard. So it's going to be a warm end to our week. Overnight lows not looking terrible either.
And when First and Four continues, still no Speaker of the House as the new week begins in Washington. Now 9 candidates in the running, the latest.
One thing I love about the CSRA, we're people who don't back down. And that's the attitude you need after a car accident. It's a threat to your health. It's a struggle for your family. And it's a battle with insurance companies that are not on your side. That's why people call me the Augusta guy. Because after an accident, you need a law firm that won't back down. Injured? Call Austin Jackson, the Augusta guy. 706-724-7224. 706-724-7224.
When it comes... You're watching News 12, First at 4, continues.
And First and Four continues with this live look from our camera at the Thurman Dam, looking as the Savannah River flows downstream towards Augusta. Temperatures are starting to drop after sunset tonight, but First Alert meteorologist Emily Acton says we should be warming up again soon as, Emily, as we said last half hour, this is a warmer forecast with low humidity. That makes all the difference.
Oh, definitely feels really good out there. Definitely feels like fall. little bit of that fall foliage there on the lake, so that's pretty cool. Definitely look compared to humidity to Vaseline, and I thought that that was actually pretty accurate. You feel like you're walking through or trying to breathe in some Vaseline the other day. Somebody told me that. Anyways, things are a lot drier. You don't feel like you're walking through some Vaseline, so definitely feels like fall. If you have any of those fall activities, maybe this evening, won't be bad to get out. Might need a jacket though. Once the sun sets, we'll see temperatures in the 50s, dropping off into those lower 50s by the middle of the night, and then we'll see the low 40s to start off our Tuesday. So definitely have a jacket on standby. You're going to need it as you head out the door tomorrow, Richard.
Emily, thanks. 400. Natalie Brand reporting there from Washington. House Republicans are scheduled to hold secret ballots tomorrow morning to try to figure out who their nominee speaker will be. With 9 candidates in the race, that balloting process could take a while to play out. Closer to home, a crack in a Millen murder case dating back to 1988. Reports say the body of 26-year-old Chong Eun Kim was found inside a suitcase thrown in a Jenkins County dumpster. Throughout the investigation, fingerprints and dental records from the victim were compared to other missing persons from around the country. But advances in DNA technology helped investigators ID the victim. If you know Kim or have any information about the case, the GBI wants to hear from you. Richmond County investigators say 2 missing teens are now home safe. We first told you 15-year-old Hallie Roll and 16-year-old Destiny Hamlet were last seen in the Cross Creek High School area on Friday. Deputies say they did return home, they are safe, and no other information has been provided yet from those investigators. Well, could you eat the same thing 6 days a week for 3 years? That's what a married couple, married 70 years, that's what they've been doing. What they do to keep it all fresh when First at 4 returns.
I could do it. I could do Chick-fil-A 6 days a week.
Every day.
I could do it, yeah. Well, like Sundays, I guess you'll just have to reheat.
You have to skip Sunday.
Anyways, I'll have a look at your 7-day coming up after the break.
Ready to skip it?
Pretty cool view there, Richard. A little friend has come to say hello.
That's a big vulture there.
Huge.
That's a large. We were watching them soar in the last shot, and he just decided to come and perch right there in front of the camera. And, sunning his feathers. He was holding those feathers just straight out a minute ago. Those wings, but just a gorgeous sight there. And we've seen all kind of wildlife. We've seen bald eagles up here on our tower cam there at the dam, but that's the first vulture that stopped by. I'm glad he didn't bring us a treat to eat up there. It looks like he might be heading out.
Oh,
gotta go.
That is so cool. Maybe I just need to get out more and experience the world, but I was like, this is so cool. I was like, we got to get that on there. Seeing that poultry, even though it's not even that pretty of a bird. But anyways, seeing that out there. It's a gorgeous afternoon. Temperatures we've seen have reached into those lower 70s, so things have warmed up pretty big for us. Overnight tonight we'll drop off into those 40s, so definitely going to need a jacket as you head out the door for your Tuesday. But by the end of the week, we're going to see high temperatures in those 80s, so definitely a warm up for us. Again, we're starting off a little bit below average for our high temperatures there, but by the end of the week we'll be actually a few degrees above average. So you want to get out and maybe walk along the river. Shouldn't be bad to do that. Maybe you'll see a vulture too and be just as excited as we were out there. But Richard, it really is a great week shaping up for us. It is dry though. I will say that. We're expecting dry conditions for the next 7 days. That could even lead into the beginning of next week. So I know we have Halloween coming up. It's a little early to forecast for that, but it's not looking wet as of right now, so that's some good news.
You know, we need to love the vultures. They do a lot of dirty work for us. They do a lot of cleanup work for us, so we appreciate having one come and perch so close to our camera. Just amazing. Emily, thanks. Early voting continues in the Peach State. In Richmond County, you can vote in the municipal building now. Those who live in the county are voting on whether they want to add a half-penny sales tax to build a new James Brown Arena. That is the only thing on the ballot for Augusta-Richmond County. In Columbia County, the job of Grovetown mayor and council seats, those are up for grabs. You're going to have to vote at the old Uchee Creek Library there. The times are listed right there on the screen, so get out and vote early if you can. Could the key to a long, happy marriage be sharing the same sandwich at the same spot 6 days a week? An Alabama couple married for 70 years tells Rich Carl their Chick-fil-A love story.
It's a Monday afternoon in Shelby County, Alabama. It could be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday too. James and Shirley Bailey, both 90
on the screen, so get out and vote early if you can. Could the key to a long, happy marriage be sharing the same sandwich at the same spot 6 days a week? An Alabama couple married for 70 years tells Rich Carl their Chick-fil-A love story.
It's a Monday afternoon in Shelby County, Alabama. It could be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday too. James and Shirley Bailey, both 90 years old, enjoy their lunch, watch the Highway 280 traffic pass by, and reminisce about their rich, blessed lives.
We talk about everything that's going on with the kids or anybody we hear from.
Now, James and Shirley Bailey have been sharing talks for decades. They've been married 70 years. But 3 years ago, during the pandemic, their chats would arrive 6 days a week, same time, same place, same lunch.
Alrighty, Mr. Bailey, and you don't have to worry about it today. No, absolutely not. Yes, sir, my pleasure.
Yes, 3 years ago, James and Shirley tried Chick-fil-A for the very first time. They split a deluxe chicken sandwich and a waffle fry. They bought their own Diet Cokes. And since the pandemic began, they've eaten the same items each and every day, except Sundays, of course, at the Chick-fil-A's Greystone location.
We're used to doing that, and we did not want to eat lunch at home. So we came up here, and we stayed.
We got to where we enjoyed just getting and parking and eating half a sandwich. It was good.
It's so down home and so sweet. Sharing an order, reminiscing, watching the Highway 280 traffic go by.
We got to where we watched the traffic too, and we began to pick out trucks or so forth that we would see every day. And we'd say, hey, there's so-and-so.
Perhaps James and Shirley have discovered the formula of a long life. Staying together, sharing stories and memories, eating from the same sandwich just to show that they are one. Oh, they're never in a hurry. They're always taking it in, reliving snapshots of their family and their friends.
We reminisce a lot about those things, and especially our grandchildren. You know, if one of them's sick or trouble or starting to school like they are now, we talk about that too.
Regardless of how long they'll be with us, James and Shirley Bailey want their legacy to be about more than their local fast food restaurants.
I really want to be known as a good person and a good grandmother and great-grandmother.
And James, he wants to forever remember his favorite lunches with his wife and his favorite moments as a father and a grandfather.
I just want to be known as a good daddy. You're bringing. But that's what I want.
And spending that quality time together, good for them and good for Chick-fil-A there in Alabama for giving them one lunch on the house there. Well, if you're heading to the City of Grovetown's Trunk or Treat event, have a look at this map. This may help you out. This event happens Friday from 6 until 9 at night over at Liberty Park. It's on Newmantown, which is already really busy during peak hours. So the city says they formed the new route for easy travel and access. Drivers should follow Newmantown Road to Lakeview Drive and then turn right there into Liberty Park through the back entrance.
Keep that flow of traffic moving steadily and rapidly so that everybody that wants to get into the event can get into the event on time, and that everybody that just needs to make it home for the evening can get to their home and be safe and sound as well.
And this is no small event. The city says they expect anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 trunk-or-treaters to attend there in Grovetown. Well, when First at 4 returns, Taylor Swift breaking records at the box office again. How much she's banking from those ticket sales coming up. Emily?
Well, I'm keeping an eye on the drought monitor. Some of our more northern counties seeing those dry conditions, and it's going to be a dry week for us. I'll have one more look at your forecast coming up.
Are you current estimate? The technicians at Overhead Door will completely inspect and recommend the garage door that is right for you. Overhead Door of Augusta Aiken, 1529 Crescent Drive in Augusta. And remember, look for the red ribbon.
What makes the Eichholz Law Firm different?
For starters, we've served this community for over 45 years.
And we know that every client is unique.
We consider you friends, neighbors, and family.
We prove it in the way we fight tirelessly for your justice.
Let the Eichholz Law Firm fight for the justice you deserve.
Tune in to First at 4, Tuesdays and Thursdays for Grant Me Hope, as we help foster children find their forever home. No foster child is unadoptable. Grant Me Hope, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 on News 12.
Well, taking a look at the next 7 days, not too bad. Dry conditions, though, that's going to be the pattern for the foreseeable future. We'll get some rainfall eventually, but things are starting off cool for tomorrow morning, so definitely have a jacket on as you head out the door, but you won't need it for the afternoon. We'll be warming up into those middle 70s, so another beautiful day in store for us, and we're creeping up to right around average, those upper 70s for this time of year come Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Gonna see those lower 80s there, and then Saturday, gonna see right around 82 for the high. But we haven't seen those 80s in the past couple of days here for us. We have seen 80 yesterday, but before that, it has been roughly 10 days or 10 to 11 days for us to see those overnight or afternoon high, reach those lower 80s. So definitely warming up. We kind of had that little false fall for us for the past 2 weeks, but it's coming, it's heating back up for us a little bit, Richard. But good news is humidity's low, so that definitely helps make it feel a little bit more bearable out there for those 80s.
Absolutely cool nights and warm days, and no complaints from us. Well, no surprise here, Taylor Swift topping the weekend box office again. The Eras Tour, the movie, raking in more than $31 million its second weekend in theaters. It beat out Killers of the Flower Moon, which didn't do bad. It took in around $23 million. Total ticket sales for the Eras Tour movie right now, north of $120 million. And remember, the singer self-produced this whole project for around $15 million. So great investment right there. ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence platforms have led to speculation that AI will eventually take over thousands of our jobs performed by humans, but AI is also creating a surge of new jobs in itself. In the last year, there's been an explosion of businesses looking for employees with expertise in artificial intelligence. They range from tech industries to banks and even insurance companies.
We're constantly in the market looking for machine learning engineers. Machine learning is effectively allowing the algorithms to constantly perfect themselves behind the scenes.
So those STEM careers are essential right now. Many of those AI jobs pay at least 6 figures. Some corporations are offering AI executives $500,000 a year or more. Close to 222 million Americans plan to purchase gifts for friends and loved ones this upcoming holiday season, but you know what? More than half are still paying off debt from last Christmas. Consumer investigator Rachel DePompa talks to an expert about ways you can spend wisely this holiday season.
Despite the stress of inflation, people still seem really excited about the upcoming holiday season. According to a new NerdWallet holiday shopping report, consumers plan to spend on average $831 on gifts this year. That's more than $184 billion spent on gifts nationwide. Kim Palmer, a personal finance expert with NerdWallet, says consumers are still a little worried about prices and are still looking for ways to celebrate the holidays without breaking their budget.
They're talking with their family and friends ahead of time about spending less, maybe regifting things, giving fewer gifts, because everyone is looking for a way to basically make it work despite the higher prices.
Palmer says save throughout the year for the holidays so you can turn to cash this time of year to pay for gifts. That way you can avoid racking up credit card debt. If you do use credit cards, be careful how much you put on them and make a debt payoff plan so you can start the new year strong without a lot of debt.
Because there's so much price fluctuation, it's a really good idea to track prices and buy them. Even if we're not so close to the holidays, if you can purchase them, set them aside, and not forget that you bought them for the holidays, that's a great way to plan out your spending.
Palmer also says consider giving experiences, meeting up for a dinner or planning a night to go to the movies together. 36% of those surveyed say they'd rather have an experience with their loved ones instead of exchanging gifts during the holiday season. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Solid advice there. Oil and gas giant Chevron agreeing to buy rival Hess for $53 billion. The purchase represents yet another oil industry consolidation deal. That will give Chevron even greater access to the U.S. shale production in Texas, a part of the industry where Chevron has already been a leader for years. Chevron plans to increase buybacks of its stock to $20 billion a year. Critics are slamming oil companies for buying back tens of billions of dollars in stock instead of easing the pain for consumers at the pump or investing in renewable energy. Registration for the annual James Brown Turkey Giveaway is coming up soon. Those dates are November the 4th through the 11th. It'll happen at the James Brown Arena from 9 until 11 in the morning. You're going to need a valid state ID, current power bill, or lease agreement to register. Turkeys will be handed out at the James Brown Arena parking lot coming up November the 20th. It's almost time. Emily.
Well, if you have any outdoor plans this evening, going to be a great night for that. We're going to see temperatures drop off into the 50s, though, after sunset, and we'll bottom out in the low 40s. I'll have another look at your 7-day coming up after the break.
And it's also time to look back and remember the old iPod. Remember those? What it did for Apple and why today is the day we celebrate it after the break. First at 4.
Your safety comes first with the First Alert Radar Network. First just got faster.
When you've been hurt in an 64665.
When the unexpected happens, who do you turn to? My law firm helps people who've been hurt in a car wreck. When the unexpected happens, George St. Injury Lawyers is there for you. Getting help is easy. Just call George St. Injury Lawyers at all nines.
Well, if you live in Grovetown and love Halloween, today is the last day to send in a proof of your scary house. It's all part of the city's spooktacular Halloween home contest. You could win a huge cauldron of candy to pass out on Halloween night. Better yet, a yard sign to brag that you do have the scariest house in the city and make that official. Email the city's public information officer, Jay Johnson, at cityofgrovetown.com with your address and your phone number, and they will do the rest. Good luck. Can't wait to see what they come up with for spookiest house there. Get ready. Today is National iPod Day. On this day, 2001, the original iPod was unveiled by Steve Jobs and Apple. It changed the way we listen to music, and it paved the way for the company's next major innovation. Of course, we all have one, the iPhone. The first iPod cost $399. Apple discontinued the standalone iPod last year after selling more than 450 million of them. And Emily, I know you're young, but do you have any old ones around the house?
Oh, yeah, I have that exact model right there.
You do?
Okay, actually, I don't know if we still have it.
It's got to be in a drawer somewhere.
I did have it. And my favorite artist that we had on there at the time was the Black Eyed Peas. That was all my iPod was. Like, that's all the music.
The size of a postage stamp? They had the tiny ones.
Yeah, and you would like clip them on. Oh, the shuffle.
Right. Is that what? The shuffle?
Yeah, they were
tiny
just
buttons, tiny.
Clip them on. Amazing. Yeah, those were cool.
The Nano, yeah, that's right.
We had a bunch of different ones. I think I had a hot pink one once. Anyways, want to get into temperature real quick before we end the show. We're sitting in those 70s right now. Going to cool off overnight. We're going to see those low 40s. So to start off your Tuesday, going to need to have a jacket with you. But you won't need it by the afternoon. We'll see those upper and middle 70s again before we see the 80s to end off our week, Richard.
And that's going to wrap it up for News 12 First to 4. Live at 5 is next. Will Rio in the studio after a quick break and a live look from our camera there up at the lake.
They say patience.